Bit of a different location today, and I found somewhere where I can actually start off in the dry, fly out, because it's just spitting with rain. Yeah, middle of June in the Highlands of Scotland, and look at the weather we've got. So disused factory, just going to be a nice excuse to actually come out and fly, to be honest. Syma X25 Pro W this is, so it's got the Wi-Fi on it as well. Tiltable camera, 720p apparently, and obviously I'll check that out and put some footage on as we go through the review. Takes a micro SD card, so simply make sure you've got one of those. It doesn't come with one, by the way. 1000 milliamp hour 2-cell battery, and it's got its own proprietary charger, and it's a proprietary battery as well. The actual design I quite like. It looks a little bit different. Syma have changed their design again. And I quite like the Symas. I was late to the party with Symas, but I actually quite like it. You might see spots of rain on it, because I was going to fly out over there, but it's actually starting to chuck it down quite a bit now. So it's just a dreich Sunday in the Highlands of Scotland. So this one has GPS on it as well, which is really rather nice. So I'm looking forward to giving it a go, and I will test it out as fully as I possibly can. The normal sort of Syma transmitter, and it starts in mode 2. So we've got throttle here, push that, and the quad will ascend. It's altitude hold. As soon as you let go, it will hold altitude. But also this is a GPS one, so it will actually hold position. And it's quite a breezy day actually. There's a little breeze coming through, as hopefully you can see in the trees there. So I thought it would be a good test for it. It's quite an open area here as well. If I push this to the right, the quad will rotate to the right. Push it to the left, rotate to the left. That's called yawing. And then we've got the direction stick on this side. Push that forward, the quad will go forward, and that's where the direction of the camera. So that's basically the front of the quad. Backwards comes backwards. That's called pitch in, and then roll in is we push it to the right, push it to the left, and basically the quad will roll right and left. And obviously, depending on what way the quad is facing, if it's facing at that angle, you push it forward. Forward is always forward for the actual sort of pilot's view, I would say. I actually like flying that way. This one also has a headless mode on it as well, and all we do is just simply hold this stick down here, hold it down for a couple of seconds, the LEDs will change and start flashing, and then that becomes headless mode. And if we bound it up this way, headless mode is if I push it forward, it's always forward away from me. It doesn't matter what direction the quad is actually facing in, and back towards me, right and left. Obviously the throttle and the yawing all works the same as well. I don't actually fly with headless mode. I've never really found a use for it, but I know some guys like it, and this does it as well. It's got a return to home feature, which should be good and should work because it's a GPS model, so that'll be really cool. We've got a rates change here as well. It's got high and low rates. Just quickly press that as opposed to holding it down for the headless mode. Quick press changes it from low rates to high rates. It always starts in low rates. And this one here is used for adjusting trim if you need to. Now, with a GPS, I'd be amazed if you needed to adjust trim. And actually, at this level, I've never really found anything I need to adjust trim on. So, but perhaps I've just been lucky in the reviews I've done. Here we've got the actual camera controls, and I'll show you that in a second. But basically, you put the camera, you can tilt the lens up and down. This takes an individual photo, and this one starts and stops our video, and we get flashing LEDs if we use the buttons on the transmitter for it. We can also activate them with the controls on the actual app itself, and I'll show you those. If you use the app one, it records it onto the micro SD card and also onto the actual phone itself, which I think is rather good. If you use these controls, all it does is record it onto your micro SD card. They recommend with this one that you plug in the quad first of all and then turn it on. There's a button on the top here. And like I say, I really quite like the look of this thing. It's quite smart. Got a little blue LED comes on first of all, and then you get the flashing ones all round, and you've got flashing LEDs all over the place down the arms, and they're really highly visible as well, which is nice. Then we actually turn on the transmitter. You get a beep beep off the transmitter, means it's ready to bind. And as you can see, we come down to a slow bind on there. If I go up and down, and then the LEDs go solid, and we're bound, ready to fly. I'm going to calibrate the compass on it, so simply just pull this one down and across. You see the LEDs have changed, and then we actually hold this one down here, and we get a beep beep off the transmitter, and now we've got flashing LEDs. So we rotate this round, and I'm hoping this is going to work, even though we're under a little bit of metalwork here. So I reckon about 4 times. I'd be surprised if it does take 4 times, and then the LEDs will change. There we go. Oh, it's going to prove me wrong. Sorry. They know what there we go. Now we get really fast flashing ones. Then we point the quad up or down. Doesn't seem to make any difference. And now we've gone solid. So it only took 2 turns around that way. And now we're actually all bound up. If it hasn't picked up a GPS signal, like you're indoors or anything, these will continue to flash, and that means that you're not flying in GPS. Basically, it won't have any GPS lock-in. But here, we're no problem at all. And it is really chucking it down. So, might not be able to actually fly it out over there. So, oh well, we'll see how we go. I'm now going to bind my phone to the actual quad. The quad will have set up a Wi-Fi hotspot, and it's actually not the quad, it's actually the camera that sets up the Wi-Fi hotspot. It won't produce anything until you plug the actual camera in. The camera comes separate, and it's just a quarter turn, and you just do the connector, and it's all built nicely inside. It's really, quite a nice little construction, I think, and everything's tucked out the way. So go onto your Wi-Fi settings. Now, I already had a play with this at home to see how it all worked and everything, and it's already gone and picked it up, FPV Wi-Fi, and then it'll have some numbers after it. And that means we're actually connected up. Go back to your home screen and then launch the Syma Fly app. And then you choose what model you want. So we're going to go the X25 Pro, as I said, and then we're going to connect to that. There we go. Tips, please connect to a network and load the maps. I've actually got data roaming turned on my phone, and so we should be okay for that. If not, if you need your own Wi-Fi or around your garden or anything, obviously you could just log on to your own one there. So we're going to go back to the actual app, and just to check we got the maps up. There we go. So we have got the maps there. So that's rather cool, actually. Yeah, very nice. Okay, so let's get out and fly first of all, shall we? So there's various ways of starting this one. You can pull the two sticks down and in, or you can press the auto takeoff, auto land in there. I'm going to actually just pop it up with that. So we're simply going to press this one. But before I do that, I'm going to actually start the video. So let me just show you. So I'm just going to start the video here, press that. We get flashing LEDs, but we don't get any notification up on the actual app itself using that method. If I turn that off, I stopped for a second, and this changes it from stills to video. Push that across. Now I press that, and then we get a count up, but we don't get the flashing LEDs. But it's recording on the phone and the app, and the micro SD card. So I don't quite know why that setup works that way, but it just does. So auto takeoff. There we go, and we're away. And as you can see, quite a wind, and that's what she's fighting to keep her position there, sort of thing. We do have a flashing LED at the back here, which I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, that is holding position well, because there is quite a breeze coming through, sort of thing. Oh, you can see how miserable the weather is. Shouldn't really be flying outside when it's chucking it with rain. So that seems to be working okay. I'm just going to yaw it around, nice and gentle. There we go. Yeah. Actually, I'm looking more and more at that weather. I'm actually going to go inside the factory because I can get inside there. So I'm just going to go and do that. A couple of ways of landing. Press the auto land, or you can just take the throttle off. Once it's realised it's not going to descend anymore, it will stop. And I'm just going to stop that video. Okay, so coming inside the factory is probably going to be as echoey as heck. And hopefully I won't get turfed out by security, but it really is chucking it down outside. So the other way of starting the motors is simply pull these down and in, and then it will just go into a tick over mode. And this time I'll start it off this way. And this time I'll actually start it off with the video on here. So we've got the flashing LEDs. Well, it's sort of lolloping around a bit, but I don't know whether that's because it's struggling to pick up. Yeah, it's not picking up GPS in here. It's not actually holding position, it's just drifting a wee bit. Well, it's actually just about getting away with it. I'm actually going to stop that. Yeah, no, it is actually managing to get it. And we have a lot of metalwork above us, sort of thing. So that is pretty good, actually. Not a normal test that I do, I must admit. The FPV is really nice on it. Yeah, I'm flying FPV now, so. It is flyable. Lovely. Whoa, that is not a nice flyer, actually. It is drifting around a heck of a lot, because I think it's not picking up the proper GPS signal here. It's not picking up all the signals, I don't think. Anyway, it's good. It looks smart. Okay, so that's in low rates, and that's in high rates, so not really an anxious sort of flyer. And like I say, a little bit lollopy, I think, because it hasn't got the GPS on. So back into low rates. There we go. So that's full pitch and low rates. As you can see, not a huge amount of difference, to be honest. That's high rates. Yeah, a little bit, but not a lot. That's a nice flight, though. Like I say, slightly lollopy in here. I think that's just purely because of where we are. Yeah, you see, when I let go of the stick control, let me just show you that. So loads of pitching backwards, and then it sort of lollops itself and rolls around. So really nice. Yeah, that's holding well now. We wait to check. Ah, no, it's moving a bit. No, it's coming back to its position, so it is actually holding GPS. We've just got to point the camera angle down, and the camera angle just pitches. It's just like, you press it, you get one that clicks down and then down, sort of thing. So it's not a smooth operation at all, sort of thing. So just to show you how that works, it clicks back up, and then you press it, clicks back up again. There we go. Oh, it's got 14 signals up here actually, so it should be doing okay. But yeah, it's not overly happy, I don't think. It's a very confusing environment for GPS where it's got all the metalwork with things bouncing on and off. I'll just do a quick range test. See how far we go up there. And like I say, that FPV is really nice. Just hoping there's no wires down there because I can't actually see. Hey, it's cool. It's a bit of a rock and roll flyer. I'll give it a go outside as well. This is just a bit of fun in here, really. I wasn't even paying attention to how far that was, but it was pretty cool. Right, now return to home should be, return to home of course will be outside because that's where I started it. So that's probably not going to be a good idea. Be interesting though, because outside is literally over there where I started. And I actually took off obviously from over here. So I'm just going to see where it actually goes when I actually activate the return to home mode. She's turning around. Whoa. Right, so it was going to return outside. It's showing how durable these quads are. It's just hit the roof and everything, and it's still actually behaving itself. I've even got muck on it. Yeah, I'm thinking that's birds. Nice stuff. Okay, so I'll show you headless mode. So we're now in headless mode. I held that down. I thought we got flashing LEDs. Yeah, we do. There we go. So forward is forward, back, right and left. And just to show that it's in headless, if I push it forward, I can still rotate the quad as well. You can't actually do that with normal flight. Yes, you do get flashing LEDs with it. So to cancel that, you simply hold that down again. You get a beep and then we're all stopped. Nice. There's no flips or anything on this one. Doesn't really bother me, but I know some people like to do the flipping stuff. Really not an interest of mine, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to stop the test for in here, and then what I'll do is I'll get out somewhere open when it stops raining, and then we'll see how it performs there. Okay, so battery all recharged, out to another location. Now I haven't calibrated the compass on it, and I've just basically bound it all up and got all ready to fly again. And we've got lock-ons all around us, and yeah, pretty area to fly in, so I'm hoping it'll be pretty good. Should get some nice footage here anyway. Going to test out all the other options that I couldn't do yesterday, like the return to home, but I won't be in a factory, so it won't hit the ceiling. And I'm going to see what happens when it's close to return to home as well. So let's just give that a quick go with everything, shall we? So I'm going to start the videos first of all, and then let's just do an auto takeoff. There we go. And with GPS, we picked up GPS really well. There's a little tiny bit of a breeze. I mean, like the slightest bit. It would actually move a quad, but it's not going to do it this time. God, we look like we've got black and white skies. It's not actually far off, to be honest. So let's try that return to home first of all. So I'm going to try it not very far away from me, so about sort of there. Oh, we've got flashing LEDs. Oh, that's for the video, isn't it? Sorry. It's doing too many reviews, so I won't do it with that. I'll just put this on video there, that's it. So, and then I won't get the flashing LED so we can see how we get on. So return to home is this one here. There we go, so it's rotating round and it's going back to home. Perfect. That's pretty close. That's more than close enough for me. I've just given that some throttle. It was about half a metre out, I suppose, something like that. So yeah, that's pretty good. Now that's what I was expecting it to do in the factory, because it was, you know, not far away, but it doesn't record its it records its takeoff point, not the sort of second point you take off from. So that was interesting to know. I'm going to run it right out. Let's pick a pretty spot, shall we? Let's go over water, be a bit more dramatic. Also, yeah, let's do a quick range test, shall we? See how we get on. So we're 40 metres, 50. Oh, I've never really that bothered about huge range distances, to be honest. I'm just going to up the rates as well. And we're just losing signal there. Yeah, we just sort of lost it. Oh, 100 metres, just coming up on 100 metres. Crikey. I just point down at the lock, and yeah, we're just about losing signal there. Oh no, it's still just about holding. 150 metres away. I'm really not that bothered about going much further than that, guys. I know some people do. I'm trying to adjust the camera, but I'm not actually getting any feedback on here. Okay, now let's see what happens with the return to home. So I'm just going to hold this down, hold it for a couple of seconds. Beep beep. I can see it rotating in the air, which will be literally half a pixel, I would imagine, on this camera. Yeah, what, 150 metres away, and we'll just see how we get on now. It's ascended, it's now just above the ridge of that other hill. Talking about the hills, my car is over there, and I actually parked it and thought, oh, that hill doesn't look very far away, I'll just walk along. So that's why I don't judge distances myself. I try and rely on the drones and GPS, because yeah, I thought that won't take me 2 minutes. Ha! I set off when it was dark, if that helps. There it is, coming back in over the top of us. I like the way it turns and comes back towards you. There we go. Yeah, always turns and faces its takeoff point. And I usually get bored when them stood above me, but yep, this one's... Oh no, this one actually came and stopped and then came down. You're going to get a load of prop wash, so it's going to throw all over the place. Well, that's... Well, gee whiz, that is spot on where it was coming into a second ago. Yeah, literally on that point there. And we actually took off from that point there. So, and that's the point it sort of registered as its return to home. So that's really good. Nicely done. There we go. So I'm going to try this, follow me. This is going to be entertaining. I didn't actually think this through first, did I? So there we go, follow me. Following distance 2 metres, must be more than 10 metres. Right, okay, so let's just take that away. Turn it so it's on me. There we go, and let's just give this a go. Actually, I'm going to stop the video and then restart it. Oh, that's very pretty noises. I obviously got the volume turned up. There we go. Oh, he obviously likes me. Drone will return to home point if the battery's low. There we go. So, whoop. Yep. Oh, it's following me, so that's good. There is actually a ridge. I know I can go down here. Look how dry it is. This is the Highlands of Scotland, and it is this dry. But it's bringing all the heather on early this year, so it's really awesome. Hey, that works. That's pretty cool. What happens if I come back towards it? Yeah, hill running, not my forte. Hopefully I'm better at reviews. I don't want any comments on that, thank you. There we go. Oh no, it's doing okay, yeah, and it's sort of keeping well away from me. Yeah, no, that works fine. That's good. Okay, so let's just come back out of that one. We've got this one. I can't get this to work. There's got to be something in here that they're going to develop, I'm sure. You've basically got this, you send it on a point thing. Oh, there we are, you can see exactly where we are. I'm going to zoom up and you'll see the 3 lock-ons that are around us. There we go. These are the 3 I'm talking about. There is another one further over, obviously, as you can see. And if I zoom that up, you can see where we can give it points. And it says, how many points do you want to do? And you just give it 1, and then you think, well, I'll give it another one. And all it does is just use the same point. So I'm not actually getting it myself, so I'll restart the video again. 0 to 30 feet. Oh, we're within 0 to 30 feet, sorry, I don't understand that. And it was far enough. Oh, I see, it's got to be within, oh sorry, it's within that bit, sorry, I'm in the wrong circle, I think. There we go. I'm not really impressed with this, to be honest. There we go, it's going to turn around, go up, and then go along to route 1. Yep, great. So, and then you can give it another point to go to, and then you press go, and it goes to that point. And then you give it another point to go to, when it stopped, sorry. So I'd rather fly it, you know, to me it's just not, I don't know, I just don't quite understand why you would bother with it, to be honest. Whoops, oh, it's having a little hissy fit there. Well, the wind's quite strong on me now, which is good, it's just blowing those midges away, so we like that. Oh, there you go, it's trying to get back to its position that I gave it, so it sort of went round it there. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of that. I'm never a fan on them anyway, even on my big quads is not something I'm really that bothered about, to be perfectly honest. I'm going to stop the video again. The return to home we have here, oh, we've got an orbit on here as well, so one I wanted to come and play with. Now again, that's the thing I actually like. I like the challenge of flying an orbit rather than something flying an orbit for me. So, but that's just me. I'm just naturally awkward that way, or a control freak, one or the other. So I'm just going to pop it in on orbit. Radius 5 meters. A radius of 5 meters. Okay. Let's just bring it into there. That's 6 meters. That ain't 5 meters. So the distance is 5 meters. Ah, is it measuring it from the point we took off from? Oh, I might. Yeah, so it measures it from where you were. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I was going to say, because that wasn't 5 meters. I could literally touch it more or less. So let's just go back just a wee bit. There we go. So, oh, we'll just go try and get this at 5 meters. And that could actually make quite a nice orbit if it does that. Altitude 2 meters, so you set where you want it to go. Let's just pop that on and let's just see how we get on. Whoops. Okay, so it actually uses the point that you were setting it to. That's not the way I read it, I must admit. So, and even that's not really quite doing it, is it? So this was the point I was stood at. Yeah, so well, I'm not moving, as you can see. Well, I'm just pirouetting on the spot. Hey. No, that does work. Yeah, you just got to give it a bit of thought with how you do it. It's slightly off, I would say, sort of over there a wee bit. But no, that's a lot better than some orbits. Again, I'd rather try and fly it myself, which is quite a challenge, to be honest. Especially with this thing might not be so easy. But let's just give it a quick go, shall we? So this is just manually flying, just trying to keep it. Oh, just a little bit too much. It's better with the gimbal, I must admit. You can keep you in shot easier. Oh, and the wind's catching it there. That's quite entertaining. There we go. Ah, that was a much better blinking orbit than the other thing was. Who needs a DJI Phantom, eh? Yes, we all do, I know, okay. Even though I'm a unique man. And if you're new to quads, that's actually a brand. I'm not a unique man, so... There we go. Yeah, so actually, yeah, much more fun. I really like doing manual orbit. I think they're quite entertaining. Separate the men from the boys, I always think. So that is pretty good, actually. That's at full pitch through. Whoa, and that's directly into the wind. I'm going to turn around and just do a fast buzz with the wind behind. Yeah, and it's really not that fast, the wind sort of thing. Yeah, that's batting it. So it's not a fast one, it's a camera drone. I'm going to have a look at the footage, see what it's like. It doesn't look too bad on the actual screen, but I've been conned by that before, or I've thought it's not very good on the screen. The actual recorded stuff is really good. It's a nice controllable drone. The settings we also have in here are, we can alter the distance of how far it will fly, and you turn it on with this. This is the other way to what I would have said, sort of thing. So 30 meters is going to be as far as we are allowed to fly now. So I'm not tested this out. So we've got flashing LEDs. Are we down on power? Yeah, we're getting low on power. It's coming into land. Yeah, basically we then couldn't fly any distance outside 30 meters. So I'm just going to try and give that a go. If it drops, it drops. So with 12 meters, oop, 20 meters. Nope, low power. Now it's going to come bring it back home, so that's fair enough. It was doing that automatically. I've cancelled out of what it was trying to do. It's trying to come back in with low power, so that's rather good, I think. That's better. It is a bit of a lolliper around with the GPS and everything, which is, some of them are, the little ones are, or can be, and some of them are absolutely fine. So it's just just the way they all are, sort of thing. I have noticed, I've been playing around with it a little bit, and it can sort of roll around a bit. It doesn't actually toilet bowl. It holds a position, but as it comes into stop, it sort of has this sort of sweeping motion of stopping, which I've had on other GPS drones. Some quite expensive ones actually have done it with me as well. So just to explain that, if you're giving it like a pitch, it's pitching forwards, and if you let go of the stick, it then sort of does this lot, which a lot of quads do. That's not particular to this one by any means. But if you do give it a lot of stick input, and if you just ease back on the throttle, it will on the pitch or the roll, it will gradually come in, and then it seems to hold position well. But it is one of these sort of lurching GPSs. I'm just saying it as it is, guys. That's the way the channel works, really. Okay, so while I run through the summary, I'm going to run some night footage, and also I did fly on FPV with those sort of cheapy goggles that you get from garages for about 7 or 8 quid. I had it in the 3D mode basically, because that's the only way my goggles work, those ones. So you get the 2 images up and it's supposed to be 3D. Obviously it's not a 3D camera, so it can't do that, but it's sort of flyable. I would be loath to do too much with it, but I did take it all the way around the garden, missed all the trees, flew through them and over the garages and everything with no problem at all. But you do get a dropout every so often on the Wi-Fi FPV, which you would expect at this level. But I just thought I'd give it a go for you so you can see it. The actual quad comes fully assembled, and you get a spare set of props with it as well. The props are already on, and when I say fully assembled, literally all you have to do is plug in these legs. They just pop in. The camera pops on and off with a quarter turn, and then you plug in the connector there and just simply carefully just pop it back in. It clicks into position and stops there. While we're on the camera, it gives the sort of the motors feel as though it could just move smoothly up and down, but it doesn't. I mean, you shouldn't really wrench it round, but I'll finish doing the review now so I can do what I like with it. And it basically comes in 3 clicks, so it's 1, 2, 3, and it's pointing straight down, so it's not a smooth transition as I sort of showed. So if you're expecting that, you won't get it. And also the camera itself, I thought the quad performed really well on everything it did. The GPS worked well, the return to homes, everything worked well, apart from when I tried it in the factory. I did assume it was going to come back to the takeoff point, not the original bind point, so I did learn something there, obviously. But the camera quality, you could get it a lot better. You know, a 2 megapixel one or even higher than that would be even better, but you can judge for yourself. There's loads of footage within the review that you can judge for it. The actual battery, as I said, 1000 milliamp hour 2-cell. You get a USB charger with it, and it actually charges. It's got 2 charging ports, so you can put 2 in there. When you plug it in and then plug it into a charging point, either a power bank if you're out and about, your car, your mains adapter, or a computer, this will go green when it's charging. When it's finished charging, it then goes off. And it takes about 2 hours to charge, and I was getting just over around about 11 minutes on all the flights I did with it, so I was quite impressed with that, to be perfectly honest. You also get the obligatory Phillips screwdriver with it, spare set of props, and you actually get prop guards with it. Now these are unusual ones, so I've popped one on for you. I don't fly with prop guards, but if you're new to flying, I definitely recommend you should do this. But these are dead easy to pop on and off. They're great. Just simply clip them in underneath, swing it round, line up the 2 holes, pop the pin in, and it holds it in position. Really nice little design, that. The actual transmitter itself, I thought, worked really well. Now, they give a range of 100 meters. We blasted through that, no problem at all with it, and I don't know how much further it would have gone. To be honest, I get a bit bored with something this small flying that far away, and I can't really see why you would do it, but I tested it as far as I was happy with testing it, and you saw the return to home worked really well as well. All the controls worked nicely on it. When you pressed them, you definitely knew it was going to be activated. I like the app, that worked pretty well on it as well. well and sort of did everything. I think they're going to develop out that point-to-point one, but it does make sense that it goes from one point to another when you press it, I suppose. But I don't find any of those any use. I don't do any of that sort of stuff with any of my big quads or anything, so it's not really my bag. But I try and show it as it is. And the other thing, typical with Syma, they do really good instruction manuals, and this is no different to the normal, usual sort of quality all the way through, nice and clearly printed, and everything's called out on it. It tells you where all the controls are and everything, which I've sort of covered in the review. But if you're new to flying, this is a great little handbook to have with you, sort of thing, if you've got any queries or anything, how to calibrate it all up and everything. And typical Syma, loads of photographs of the individual items, and then an exploded view, and actually all of the part numbers and what they're called and everything. So really nice. As per normal, Syma are excellent on those. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed the review. Certainly enjoyed having you along, and I shall be seeing you on the next one.